Hello everyone, my name is Clay, and welcome to another episode of Terminally Nerdy's Indie Impressions, the show where I take a look at independent, non-AAA, and niche titles, giving you my quick first impressions after at least 2 hours of gameplay. Also, now available as an audio podcast. Check out my website, terminallynerdy.com, for links to all that, and the description below should have a link to them as well. Now, today we're going to be looking at what amounts to a visual novel set in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, specifically the New York area, Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York by draw distance. Now, I'm a fan of urban fantasy in general. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of vampires in most media. They tend to be very boring and samey. Vampire the Masquerade at least has a fair amount of variety in how their vampires function, and I'm a fair fan of the Masquerade universe, if not the actual tabletop system. So I was curious as to how it would translate into a visual novel, as really, Vampire the Masquerade's strengths has always been in its storytelling. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, while a fine game, is a broken, buggy mess, the original specifically, and without mods is virtually unplayable unless you want to scream. So I'm looking forward to Bloodlines 2. I'm hoping Bloodlines 2 is fantastic, and we shall see. But for now, this was the newest game that we have, and it's pretty solid. Unlike most visual novels where you're playing a single character and you basically are playing a choose-your-own-adventure book with not a lot of options necessarily, this one at least gives you some choice. At the beginning, you're going to pick one of three vampires. You're either going to play a Bruja, a Ventru, or a Toreador. You only have 3 of the 13 clans. I know this bothers some people, but honestly, trying to write storylines for 13 different clans with all the different powers that are available would have been a nightmare for an undeveloped studio, or an indie studio. So I'm happy that they picked these 3. So I chose the Bruja, and I named him Traven, because why the hell not? Felt like going kind of crowish. And from there, you're put into this world, and the story itself starts with you being embraced, and how you kind of meet the New York vampire coalition, as it were, and you get a lot of choices right out the gate. Now, the big focus of this game is choice and characters. It's very character-driven, in fact. What surprised me was you end up spending most of your time on this kind of map, and you essentially have a couple of different options each night to play out before you have to go rest at your haven. And each of these options is focused on either a particular character or a particular small story, while there's also sort of a meta-narrative going on behind it, where your sponsor wants you to set up a coterie, basically an adventuring party, for lack of a better term. And the first thing she does is it offers to introduce you to a couple of different vampires in town, and you're supposed to do their quest lines, make friends with them, while also dealing with her jobs and stuff from the other people. And the characters are really what make this game. I'm a huge fan of Kadir. He's the sheriff. You meet him very early on, and I love the dude. I really want to know more about him, honestly. But the characters are all really, really fantastic. Gameplay is very straightforward. Click on the continue button until presented with a choice. Make your choice. Now, if you've played the Telltale games, you might be used to the choices having a timer. This does not take that approach, thank God. You can actually sit down and look. And further, all the vampires have unique disciplines available to them. So the Bruja has access to Serenity, which is basically super speed, and I've had multiple instances of being able to use that. Also, they all get, I want to say it's potence. Basically, you get the, mind fuckery to, control human minds and that sort of thing. Everybody gets that. But every other vampire clan gets 3 unique disciplines that you can use during encounters and choices. You also are given multiple opportunities to feed, and that is a mechanic that is apparently needed in this game, as if you don't feed and you use your powers too much or take too much damage, the screen will actually go red along the edges, and you will risk letting the beast loose. Now, the story is fairly slow-paced because it's made up of individual side stories that are kind of coming together to a meta-narrative, and it doesn't shy away from several adult themes and a lot of weird stuff. Hope's Malkavian stuff is quite freaky, actually, how it introduces hope and everything. And you can absolutely seemingly fail to make friends with some of these vampires, because there were specific achievements for making friends with them and then completing their side stories. So that is a thing. I am curious to see where the story goes. I only played it for about 2.5 hours, but I am actually very much interested in it, and I might sit down and finish it, as these sort of games are right up my alley, to be perfectly honest. So, if you like what you're seeing and you're curious about what it would be like to be a vampire in the world of Vampire the Masquerade, and you don't mind just basically a choose-your-own-adventure novel, definitely give this game a try. I think it's absolutely worth it. It is on Steam, and I want to say it's $20. Give me a moment. Because again, I am ultra prepared, as every I am. Yeah, it's $20, so it's absolutely worth $20 if you ask me. Support these devs. I would love to see them take a shot at, say, Werewolf, or maybe even Mage. Mage would be baller. Nobody ever likes Mage. I would like to see them take a shot at Mage the Ascension, personally. So, or Changeling. Changeling would be pretty cool, too. As always, if you like what I'm doing, hit the like button, subscribe, let me know if you've played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, or if you're intending to play Coteries of New York, or hell, if you're looking forward to Bloodlines 2 in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and remember, stay nerdy, everybody. Hey there, I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and a special thank you to all my patrons who are listed over there on the right hand of the screen. If you want to get your name in those credits, feel free to check it out at patreon.com/terminallynerdy. And hey, be kind to each other and stay nerdy. Thanks.